Thank you, Groww, for providing this platform to IDFC Mutual Fund to showcase our latest offering and our first international fund, and also helping investors make an informed decision. Hello, everyone. I am Sirshendu Basu, Head Products at IDFC Asset Management Company. IDFC US Equity Fund of Fund allows investors to benefit from the growth potential of US markets. The Fund of Fund will be investing into US mutual fund that in turn would be investing into shares of listed US company, predominantly large cap companies. Currently, the fund will be investing into JP Morgan US Growth Fund, which is the underlying fund for this Fund of Fund. A bit about the underlying fund. The fund is a US large cap growth biased fund, and it got incepted in 2000, and the relevant share class has an AUM of about 1.8 billion. The objective of the fund is to generate long-term capital appreciation by investing into overseas mutual fund, which in turn will be investing into US equity securities. The investment approach and portfolio positioning of the underlying fund, which is the JP Morgan US Growth Fund, it is an actively managed and has a well-tested fundamental bottom-up stock selection process. It is positioned currently to benefit from the reopening of the US economy while majorly being invested into long-term secular trends. The fund has broad exposure to US equity without a sector or a market cap bias, but currently has a lower exposure to the most known top 10 index constituents. The fund is managed by a seasoned and proven fund management team with deep US market expertise. Last but not the least, through the IDFC US Equity Fund of Fund, our Indian investors can invest into US market hassle-free with all the convenience which one has for a mutual fund. For the investors who can consider the IDFC US Equity Fund of Fund for an investment would be typically an investor who's seeking a portfolio diversification. An investor looking for a market to cushion the investment portfolio when the returns of the Indian markets are challenged. An investor aiming to enhance the long-term return of the portfolio through exposure to the high growth US market. Finally, it is relevant for an investor who's willing to create an USD asset, right, to meet future USD expenses which they might have, and in the process, create a dollar asset. On the taxation of the fund, this is an international fund of fund and will be taxed like a debt fund. Capital gains are added to one's income if the holding period is 3 years or less. They are taxed after providing for indexation if one sells them after 3 years. To summarize, diversifying your investment in the US market can be the right move for your investment portfolio in the long run. The US market is the largest contributor of global GDP and has been the most consistent equity market with low volatility over the last decade and beyond. With this ability to stay resilient and navigate any financial storm coming its way, the US should be considered as part of one's core global allocation. Within the US, the growth-oriented, actively managed strategy of the underlying fund of IDFC US Equity Fund of Fund can be incorporated as part of the long-term portfolio of an investor. The new fund offering is currently in progress and will remain open till 12th of August 2021. Thank you.
Mutual fund investments are subject to market risks. Read all scheme-related documents carefully.